The title of our presentation is Predicting the Future. Let's welcome Lindsey.
Fellow Toastmasters, how far can you see into the future? Science fiction authors have been writing down what they've seen from the future for centuries now. Science fiction or sci-fi bodies of work have actually predicted a lot of the technology we use today accurately. The cell phone, robotic arms, hands-free video games, and driverless cars are all technologies that were predicted by science fiction influence. Sci-fi predictions are not all right. I mean, you're lucky if you get one right prediction in a body of work. I'm going to highlight a few predictions of technologies that we use in TV shows and movies that you've either seen or at least heard of. So in 1964, in an episode of Star Trek, a device was introduced called the communicator. Now this device, you could pretty much talk through subspace in voice communication in the fictional universe, right? Now what that pretty much means is it can contact anyone, any individual that's in space with the ship's communication system. So the communicator pretty much looked like a cell phone. You could flip it open, and it had location device on it, pretty much like GPS. Dr. Martin Cooper, the inventor of the cell phone, actually stated that the communicator from Star Trek was his main influence in inventing the cell phone. Now there's one thing that the communicator could do that the cell phone couldn't do, and that's actually talk through subspace. But there's one thing that the cell phone can do that the communicator can't do, and that's access Facebook. So in 1980, there was a huge movie that hit theaters, Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back. Now, regardless if you've seen this movie or if you haven't, you know this scene. You pretty much have Luke Skywalker facing off with Darth Vader, and they're in this epic battle. Unfortunately, Luke loses, and he also gets his hand severed off. Darth wins, and he also reveals to Luke that he is his father. A few scenes later, you see Luke using his hand. His hand's moving because it's a robotic hand. Artificial limbs have been around for a while, right? But a few years ago, at the University of Pittsburgh, there was a quadriplegic woman who had implants of microelectrodes in her brain. And she was controlling this arm and this hand with just her thoughts alone. So that prediction actually came true. Another 1980s movie, Back to the Future 2, great movie. The main character, Marty McFly, actually travels to the future. And in this future, it's actually 2015, which is a year from now. So Marty is in the future, and he's in this foreign land because there's technologies that he's never seen before. But he actually finds a vintage retro cafe. He walks in, and all of a sudden he's comfortable. He's in his home. Everything is very familiar to him. And he actually sees a group of kids trying to play a video game. So there's this arcade game, and he walks over because he wants to help the kids and show them how to play the game. He starts shooting the cowboys, and he wins, and he's pretty impressed with himself, but the kids aren't. They think the game is juvenile and just stupid. The reason why is because Marty uses hands, and in 2015, you don't use your hands with video games. And the funny thing about that is there's or console called Microsoft Xbox Connect, and Nintendo consoles that you actually don't use your hands. So actually this prediction was a year late because there are video games where hands aren't required. You pretty much just use your body motion, and there's a camera that controls the game for you. So another accurate prediction. And lastly, Demolition Man, starring Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock, is another movie where actually there's several predictions that are right through this movie. So in the scene, you see Sandra traveling down the highway. She's in a car, she's going down the highway, she's in the driver's seat because she's not driving. The car is driving itself. She's also having a video conference. She's talking to somebody through the studio. She's actually talking to somebody who's on the other side of the world, in an office, and this fella is holding a tablet-like device and talking to Sandra through video. Now that doesn't sound too foreign to you. I mean, the guy had an iPad and he was using Skype, right? But the interesting thing about that is the movie came out in 1993, and the internet was born a year later. So that's pretty impressive for those two predictions. Let's go back to the driverless car. So Mercedes and Prius actually already have driverless functionality in their vehicles. So auto braking. The car will stop without the driver's influence in anticipation of collision and stop the car and brake automatically. Parallel parking. There's a couple models you've probably seen in the commercials. The driver's just sitting back and the car is easily parked parallel without any damage whatsoever. So that's pretty close. That's the mainstream market, you know, pretty, not quite there. However, Google has been using driverless cars for years. So Google Maps and all the pictures and all the videos that they get, most of it is through driverless cars. No person is physically in the car, and all of these cars have over 140,000 miles on it. So you don't really need to see the future. What you need to do is pick up a sci-fi book or go check out the latest sci-fi movie in the theater, because it will show you the future.